my mid-20s,
Right.
the first time I really came over here. You know, I had a whole bunch of weird paranoid suspicions about what the hell was going on because there was a lot of stuff I couldn't understand.
Right.
And nobody was really bothering to explain it to me.
They don't.
And and I formed a bunch of opinions about the town.
When Mel Gibson sat down for an interview in 2024, nobody expected what he was about to reveal. The Hollywood veteran, known for speaking his mind, dropped a bombshell about one of the most controversial films of 2023, Sound of Freedom. What he said sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry and raised disturbing questions about the very people who tried to bury this film. This isn't just another Hollywood controversy. This is a story about power, corruption, and a battle that's been raging behind the scenes for years. A story that connects Jeffrey Epstein, elite pedophile rings, and the mysterious forces that didn't want this movie to see the light of day. This is the explosive truth about Sound of Freedom. In July 2023, a small independent film called Sound of Freedom hit theaters. The movie told the true story of Tim Ballard, a former Homeland Security agent who quit his job to dedicate his life to rescuing children from child exploitation networks. It starred Jim Caviezel, the same actor who played Jesus in Mel Gibson's The Passion of the Christ. The film had a modest budget of just $14.5 million and zero support from major Hollywood studios. But here's where things get interesting. Despite having almost no marketing budget and facing constant attacks from mainstream media, Sound of Freedom became a phenomenon. It made over $250 million worldwide, beating out major studio releases like Indiana Jones on its opening week. Parents were buying out entire theaters. People were crying in their seats. The film had struck a nerve with audiences across America. However, the success of Sound of Freedom wasn't supposed to happen. You see, this movie had been finished and ready for release way back in 2018. That's right, 5 whole years before it finally made it to theaters. So what took so long? Why was a completed film about rescuing children from trafficking kept on the shelf for half a decade? The official story was that 20th Century Fox, the studio that originally owned the distribution rights, got bought by Disney in 2019. And when Disney took over, they supposedly decided the film didn't fit their brand, so they buried it. They shelved a movie about rescuing children from commercial exploitation because it didn't fit the Disney brand. But Mel Gibson wasn't buying that explanation, and neither were millions of Americans who started asking questions. Because when you dig deeper into who tried to stop this film and why, you uncover a web of connections that leads straight to Jeffrey Epstein and the powerful network he represented. Mel Gibson has never been one to stay quiet when he sees injustice. Love him or hate him, the man says what's on his mind. And when he started speaking about Sound of Freedom and the forces working against it, he pulled no punches. In multiple interviews throughout 2024, Gibson made it clear that he believed there were powerful people in Hollywood who actively worked to suppress the film. He didn't just mean they ignored it or chose not to promote it, he meant they actively sabotaged it. But why would anyone want to suppress a film about rescuing children from trafficking? The answer, according to Gibson, is simple and terrifying, because the film hits too close to home for some very powerful people. Gibson pointed to the fact that Hollywood has a long history of looking the other way when it comes to the abuse of children. He mentioned how Harvey Weinstein operated for decades with everyone knowing what he was doing, yet nobody stopped him. He talked about how Roman Polanski, who literally fled the country after being convicted of a serious crime involving a 13-year-old girl, still gets standing ovations at award shows. The same industry that claims to care about protecting children has consistently protected predators instead. But Gibson went further. He started connecting dots that made a lot of people very uncomfortable. He talked about Jeffrey Epstein's Little Black Book, which contained hundreds of names of Hollywood's elite, producers, directors, actors, executives, people who had visited Epstein's island or flew on his private jet, nicknamed the Lolita Express, people who knew exactly what Epstein was doing but said nothing, or worse, participated. And here's the thing that made Gibson's comments so explosive. Jeffrey Epstein didn't operate alone. He was connected to a vast network of wealthy and powerful individuals, politicians, businessmen, royalty, and yes, Hollywood executives. Epstein's arrest in July 2019 should have brought down this entire network. His suspicious death in prison should have led to more investigations, not fewer, but instead, the story quietly disappeared from the news. The flight logs were never fully released. Most of the names in his black book faced no consequences. The whole thing got swept under the rug. So when Sound of Freedom came along, telling a story about elite pedophile rings and child trafficking, it threatened to reopen questions that powerful people wanted to stay closed. And according to Gibson, that's exactly why they tried to kill the film. Jeffrey Epstein wasn't just a wealthy financier with dark secrets. He was a blackmail artist who built his entire empire on compromising powerful people. His private island in the Caribbean wasn't just a vacation spot, it was a trap, a place where he could collect evidence on the world's most influential individuals engaging in horrific crimes. And he used that evidence to gain power, protection, and wealth. When Epstein was finally arrested in July 2019, it looked like the whole house of cards was about to collapse. Prosecutors had evidence, victims were ready to testify. The world was about to learn the truth about the elite pedophile network that Epstein ran. But then, just 1 month later, Epstein was found dead in his jail cell. The official ruling was self-harm, but almost nobody believed it. The cameras mysteriously malfunctioned. The guards fell asleep. It was the most high-profile prisoner in America, and somehow he died under impossible circumstances. Epstein's death ensured that most of his secrets died with him. His longtime associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, eventually convicted and sentenced to 20 years in prison, but she's refused to name names. The flight logs showing who visited Epstein's island have been partially released, but many pages remain classified. The full client list has never been made public. It's as if powerful forces are working overtime to ensure certain names never see the light of day. The film brings attention to the serious global issue of illegal exploitation of children, portraying it as a widespread criminal activity that operates through organized networks. The movie shows how these networks operate in plain sight, how they use money and influence to avoid prosecution, and how the system often protects the abusers instead of the victims. This wasn't a comfortable message for Hollywood to hear, because Hollywood itself has been implicated in Epstein's network. Multiple A-list celebrities appear in Epstein's flight logs. Several major producers and executives were photographed at his parties. When Epstein's Manhattan townhouse was raided, investigators found photos of celebrities and politicians on his walls. These weren't random connections. Epstein cultivated relationships with Hollywood's elite for a reason. Mel Gibson understood this better than most. He'd been in Hollywood for decades and seen how the industry really works. He knew about the whisper networks, the open secrets, the abuses that everyone knew about but nobody stopped. So when he saw a film like Sound of Freedom being suppressed, he recognized the pattern. The same people who protected Weinstein, who gave Polanski a standing ovation, who looked the other way during Epstein's crimes, were now trying to bury a film about child trafficking. The hypocrisy was staggering.
If powerful Hollywood figures wanted Sound of Freedom to disappear quietly, they failed. But they didn't give up. Instead, they launched a coordinated media campaign to discredit the film, its creators, and its message. And the tactics they used were straight out of the classic playbook for suppressing uncomfortable truths. First, they went after the film's star, Jim Caviezel. Major news outlets published hit pieces calling him a conspiracy theorist. They mocked his faith. They questioned his mental state, all because he dared to make a movie about child trafficking and speak publicly about the issue. Caviezel had committed the ultimate Hollywood sin. He broke the code of silence. Then they targeted Tim Ballard, the real-life hero whose story the film was based on. Suddenly, accusations appeared claiming financial irregularities with his organization. Anonymous sources made claims about inappropriate behavior. It was a classic smear campaign designed to destroy his credibility. Whether these accusations had merit or not almost didn't matter. The timing was suspicious enough. The attacks only intensified after Sound of Freedom became a massive success. But the most telling attacks were against the film's message itself. Major publications ran articles claiming that the illegal exploitation of children wasn't really a big problem. They said the movie exaggerated the issue. They called it a moral panic. Some even seemed to suggest that raising awareness about child exploitation was somehow harmful. Let that sink in. Major media outlets were essentially arguing that we shouldn't talk too much about the exploitation of children. The Guardian published an article calling the film part of a dangerous conspiracy theory. CNN brought on guests who dismissed the entire premise of the movie. Rolling Stone wrote a piece that seemed more concerned with the politics of the people promoting the film than with the actual issue of trafficked children. It was a coordinated effort to frame anyone who supported Sound of Freedom as a right-wing extremist or conspiracy theorist. This media blitz had a clear goal: make people afraid to see the movie or talk about it. If you went to see Sound of Freedom, you were labeled as one of those people. You know, the conspiracy theorists, the troublemakers, the ones who don't trust the institutions. The message was clear. Good, smart, normal people don't concern themselves with these wild theories about elite pedophile rings. But Mel Gibson saw right through it. He'd experienced Hollywood's smear machine himself. He knew how it worked. When powerful people want to destroy someone or suppress a message, they don't engage with the actual arguments. They attack the messenger. They mock, ridicule, and marginalize until the public stops listening. It's the same tactic that was used to silence victims of abuse for decades, and now it was being used against a film about rescuing children. The irony was impossible to ignore. The same media that spent years covering up for Harvey Weinstein was now attacking a film about the illegal exploitation of children. The same outlets that barely covered the Epstein scandal were writing hit pieces against Sound of Freedom. The same journalists who never asked tough questions about Hollywood's abuse problem were suddenly very concerned about the dangers of raising awareness about the illegal exploitation of children. Gibson called it out directly. He said the media's reaction to Sound of Freedom proved that the film was telling an inconvenient truth. If it were just another movie, why the coordinated attack? Why the desperate need to discredit it? The answer, Gibson suggested, was that the film threatened to wake people up to realities that powerful interests wanted to keep hidden. To understand why Sound of Freedom faced such resistance, you need to understand Hollywood's relationship with child abuse, and it's not a pretty picture. For decades, the entertainment industry has been plagued by accusations of illegal exploitation of children. But unlike other industries where such accusations lead to investigations and reforms, Hollywood has consistently protected its own. The Corey Feldman story is one of the most well-known examples. Feldman, a child star in the 1980s, has spent years trying to expose the pedophiles who abused him and his friend, Corey Haim, when they were young actors. He's named names, he's gone on record, but Hollywood hasn't listened. Instead, he's been marginalized, mocked, and ignored. His attempts to make a documentary exposing the abuse were met with legal threats and funding challenges. The message was clear: some stories are not allowed to be told. Then there's the case of Dan Schneider, the powerful Nickelodeon producer behind shows like iCarly and Drake and Josh. For years, there were rumors and allegations about inappropriate behavior with young actors, yet he continued to work, continued to create shows with child stars, and continued to wield enormous power.
It wasn't until 2018, after #MeToo had already shaken Hollywood, that he was finally let go. And even then, there was no real accountability, no investigation, no public reckoning. He just quietly left, and everyone moved on. What do you think about all this? Let us know in the comments below, and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this.